everyone. Welcome to Real Estate Unscripted. I'm super excited today to have Kelly Zitlow with us. Say hi, Kelly.
Hi, everybody.
So I got to know Kelly because we were we were coaches in a program together, and I got to really hear her speak and learn about things that she's going to share with you today. She's like a video guru, and everyone goes, "Yeah, right." Do you hear everyone? Yay, video! Me on video.
I hear them all. I don't. They're like tuning out right now. They're like, no,
They're like,
don't make me do video.
Yeah. No, we're gonna make them. But so you and I both have been in business for 27 years. Since we were 5 years old, we started, right? Yeah, I know both of us swinging our hair if you can't see it. But so you've been 27, you were with Cornerstone, you've been there for 5 years.
Correct. Yep.
So here's what I love about you. So coach, you've been a coach, you speak, you are not only a lender, but the executive, EVP of sales for your company, which I think is fantastic. And you told me why. So tell me why is that so important to you? What's your passion?
Well, at this part of my journey, Marjorie, I am so just fueled by helping loan officers, especially right now. This is a tough market. So, but even prior to this market, I've been on this journey for the last couple of years. Is what's next? I've been so blessed to have had the tenure in this business and to have done really great, big, fun things. But honestly, my heart right now is, how do I help the next generation of loan officers coming in? How do I help the current loan officers that are stuck? How do I help those that are achieve in a more efficient way and continuing that their path? And that's the reason why I've gone into, I still have an origination team. We still originate, we still do all our things, but a big part of my time and day is focused on the collaborative efforts of what we do as a company to help elevate our loan officers.
So what I love about you, and I think this is something that when I get to interview everyone for this podcast, it's this, I have some personal success, right? But I really want to share with others. I want to make sure that I can empower others to succeed and help them with key attributes, which we talked about. We're going to talk about mindset, right? Their mindset. Ooh, we're going to get some tips on that, because mindset right now, it's not easy. Their activities, because I think that when the market gets hard, I think we kind of go a couple different ways. We abandon all things we know. We abandon the basics because we think something shiny has to help me. We put our heads in the sand and say, this has gotten hard. So I think our activities are important, and not just being busy, right? But we got to be productive and doing the right things. And then tech tools, which are very important too. And we're going to talk about those. But for you, you're basically one of your geniuses, I think, and there are many, is your branding, your social presence. You figured this out long ago. Talk a little bit about that. You really took on this when people weren't doing it yet.
Honestly, I don't know what came into my head, and I had no idea how challenged I was going to be doing it. But in 2013, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. So if we think about what was going on in 2013, we were just coming out of this big, crazy real estate cycle, right? And the federal government was stepping into mortgage lending and starting to get licensing. All these different things were happening. And we had so many people that had been faced with real estate agents, our clients, losing their jobs, foreclosures, short sales, all of that stuff. And up until that point, I'd been very consistent in sending out every week to the real estate community an email that just had a nugget, because I felt like I had to keep this community going. Like, it was okay. We were going to figure out a way. It wasn't easy, but there was still opportunity. And I believe that today. There's opportunity no matter where the market is, specifically the real estate market. But there's opportunity even in the, stock market right now. I mean, I don't know about what you were looking at this morning, but it's been a couple rough days in the stock market. Guess what? There's still opportunity in that market. There's opportunity in every market, but we have to find it. We have to be intentional about looking for it. So back in 2013, I thought, gosh, I just had this idea. What if I took my weekly update to the realtors, and instead of doing just words on an email, I would do a video? And I was like, well, gosh, nobody was doing that back then. So I don't know where it came from, but I just had an idea. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do that then. So sat down with my marketing gal, and she'd never done video. I'd never done video. We had no idea what we were doing. That year, 2013, I shot 8 videos for the whole year. I never sent one of them out. Because what nobody ever told me was, you're going to get in your own way. You're not going to do this because of you. And it was tough. I did not like the way I looked I still don't love the way I look on video.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, I was like looking at myself this morning going, oh my God. It just is. We are the worst critics of ourselves. And so for anybody out there that's thinking that they want to do this, just know 99% chance you're going to do it, and you're going to completely just be as critical as no other human being would ever be to you. And you're going to be that to yourself.
Agreed. Because you don't, I mean, how many videos do you ever look at and go, that person just looks awful? Almost never, right?
Never.
Like you're like, oh, look at that. And look, I learned. And we're like, look what's in my teeth and why aren't they more white?
All these things.
I don't sound like a Smurf, right? Like it's, it is fine. It's like when we hear ourselves sing karaoke, right? And we're like, ooh, not doing that again.
But in the shower or in the car, you sound so good, right?
I sound fantastic until someone else hears me. But so I think that's super important, but we're going to back up a little bit and say, okay, it is a tough market right now. And so let's talk about some tactics. It's lenders and realtors listening right now. And I love this because if people listen to these podcasts, they're going to hear that the people who are really thriving have very similar things they do. So let's talk about, how do you start your day?
That's right. That is the most important thing, is what are we conditioning ourselves to do every single morning that becomes our ritual that we can depend on? And I'm a big believer that we have to pay attention to what we're listening to and who we're listening to. And I say that because if you're listening to the noise and the chaos and all the scare and the fear and everything else, which is what the national media does, let's face it, right? Their job is to sell clicks. Their job is to sell advertisements. If we're listening to that and we're not starting our day in some type of peaceful kind of just routine, then we're going to get sucked into it. So for me, I'm very consistent. Every morning I wake up, I have 2 Labradoodles that are the loves of my life. Hopefully my husband's not listening right now, but anyway,
you love him too. You love him.
And I spend a few minutes with them. I let them go out. And then I just do the dishes in the morning. Like it's my way to just have nothing going on in my head. I like to have my house set and ready to go before I hit it and I get into work. So I finish that up. I make my mud water. And then I go in and I will go to my home office and I'll read a daily devotional. I like that, what that does to my soul and my head, and it helps me connect with me. And then I write my gratitude journal. That's what I do. I do that every single morning.
Is mud water coffee, by the way?
I have not had coffee since December 8th. Mud water is like a coffee alternative. Yeah. I was a crazy
mushroom one. Is it the mushroom?
It's the mushroom one.
Oh, no.
No, it doesn't taste bad. Anywho's, whatever. So no, but that's what I do. It doesn't matter if it's coffee, tea, water, doesn't matter. But just having that ritual is something that I think is really foundational and important when we try to, especially when we go through tough times. It's the thing you can always count on, and you're giving that to yourself. And trust me, I have not been that person.
Yeah. Well, we all have.
My life is different because of it.
Yeah. And I think it's very hard. Like when we talk about a gratitude journal, it's really hard to be super negative and mad when you're thinking of things you're grateful for. And, when you start doing it, you're like, oh, but even it's like, honestly, some days it's like, whoa, I'm grateful it's not raining right now. And I'm grateful that, I feel good. And I'm grateful that, and then it gets easier. But I also think, again, when you're thinking, gosh, I'm so lucky, I'm so grateful and fortunate for, is very different than, the market sucks, right? It's just hard to be super negative while you're grateful.
I could not agree more. And again, it doesn't have to be labor intensive. It can be one sentence. It could be one word. It could be one thought. But I date mine, and then I'll just say, sometimes they're longer, sometimes they're shorter, sometimes it's a word. But then I see over time, it starts to build my story, and it starts to remind me, you know what, you are pretty blessed. And I'm blessed because I'm choosing to have intention around what I put in my head and my heart, and to find that gratitude.
Yeah, I think we all forget. I mean, it's a harder market, but really, I think, it's very important, I think, to pay attention. It's important to pay attention to, you had a great dinner and you have a great house or apartment or whatever it is, and you got in a car to go to work and your kids are healthy, and just those things that we take for granted all the time. And because things are harder now. Well, you know what? Imagine how much harder for people that aren't as fortunate, right? We are lucky people. So I think we need to kind of get that out of our heads. So then one of the things is it's how your day starts, but you said who you listen to, right? And what you listen to tactically. So give us a couple, what do you listen to or who do you listen to that keeps you in the right mindset?
First of all, I don't watch the news. So let's get that clear.
Neither. I do not.
I intentionally don't watch the news. What I do listen to is when I'm getting ready in the morning, I have my ear pods in and I'm listening to either a podcast. So I love Ed Milet, but I also am a big audiobook listener. I just finished Hustle by Joshua Medcalf. I'm on a mission this year to get more in my head. That's good stuff. I just finished Money in the Streets by Barry Habib. And it's good. I just take something away from these, even if it's an essence of a mindset. Sometimes it's tactical thought, but the more I pour into me, the more confident I feel about what is in front of me for the day, the year, the years.
Yeah. Well, the more that you're poured into, you can then pour into others. If if your cup is empty and you're negative, guess what? Right. Like then it makes it really hard to have to go and rally the troops and have the energy to make your phone calls and everything. So I think that's important. Like, I agree. I almost never watch the news and it's to the point where I'm like, ooh, now it doesn't mean I don't know what's going on in the world. It doesn't mean that I'm not clear on things. And when there's something I really want to learn more about, I will go on and look for it, but I don't sit in front of the news because never has that made me happy. I think it also matters. So, okay, we start our day really well. Agree with you, right? What we listen to, how we kind of fill our cup before we have to go out and take care of others. And then I think that mindset and how we talk to people also comes from this, right? Like I can be a much more positive person if I start my day off properly and I'm grateful and I have my routine that I go into work and now I got to hit it. But I think, what do you think the biggest issue is right now with how people are talking to people or how they're just reacting to what's happening around us?
I think in part, the media and just the people you're listening to, they can bring you down or they can lift you up. And please be clear, this is not an easy real estate market. I'm living it. I am with you if you're listening to this. Yeah, I feel your pain. However, what I know is what I focus on that I can control. That's the only way I'm going to get through this. And that's the only way you're going to get through this. So control what you can control. And there's so much opportunity, even in a difficult real estate market. There really is. It's just, are we searching for it? Are we intentional? Are we waking up in paralyzed fear? Or are we waking up saying, all right, let's get our cleats on. We got to get out there, right? It's a choice. It really is.
Agreed. I mean, I totally agree. And I think it's, they always say you're the sum of the 8 people you listen to or whatever it is. And I think that's important. So people that are having a tough time, like maybe do like a media / social media / friend study, right? So if you wake up in the morning, listen to the news, and then you go in and you know what I mean? And everyone says the sky is falling. And then, it's all negativity all day. Look, this too shall pass. I mean, you and I've been through it. I think 27 years in, both of us, we've been through some tough markets. We're in a tough market. And listen, I'm in it too. Let's be clear. I'm a full-time realtor. I am the head of a team and I pay the bills, right? So it's like, it has to happen. I don't get to fake my way through it either. But I'm also, so during the recession, the actual recession last time, I had something in my journal that said, I heard there's going to be a recession. I've decided not to participate.
I love that.
Right. Because the thing is, it's like, yes, I can't pretend my way out of it, but I'm also not going to let it consume me. And I think right now it's like, are we letting it consume us? Are we abandoning all the things that we know work well for us, right? The tactics and the tools and what we do to continue forward, just reaching for something that we're hoping is going to work. Have we stopped working, thinking, well, it doesn't matter anyway, right? So it's really paying attention. And then how are we helping each other? Because I'm a realtor and you're a lender. And I've always said, and I know you agree, we thrive or we go down together, right? I mean, right. We are integral parts of each other's businesses. And so really helping each other right? And guiding each other is humongously important to get through this.
Yeah. And I think having people around you and partners you choose to work with, both whether you're a real estate agent or a lender and a lender to real estate agents, when we can have honest, authentic conversations about really what's the struggle, then the other person's there to be thinking the solutions. Because when you're in the struggle, sometimes it's hard for you to see the opportunity or the solution. So just having those, like you said, those valuable partnerships and friendships, honestly, that have come over the years on how can I bring value today to the real estate community? How can I bring value today to loan officers? That's what I'm waking up thinking. That's what's driving me throughout the day. And I also think that, energy is a big deal, Marjorie. So how we show up to these conversations, how we show up on the phone or Zoom or in person, it's a choice. And if you're showing up all like, then what kind of energy? That's like the lowest level of energy. It just hype it up, right? Have some coffee. I don't care, but switch that record that you're playing in your head and show up and bring that energy and that positivity or solutions. Find the opportunity. It does exist.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the key, right? I think we have a lot of clients working with us now because they said, wow, you're really positive. And I thought, well, yeah, because if I'm like, oh, it's never going to happen. Kelly, I'm sorry you need to buy a house. Well, that sucks for you. This market's awful, right? Like you probably won't get a loan, by the way. And God, I know you're never going to get a house. So listen, I don't even know why we're talking right now. Actually, I've got a TV show that starts in about 15 minutes that I'm going to watch. I mean, seriously, it's like, what are people saying? Because again, it doesn't mean we're falsely positive. Like we don't put on our clown suits and go, this is going to be just barrels of monkeys, right? But it's like, here's how we're going to get you through. This is what the reality is. This is what you have to do to get a house. This is how we have to prepare you. This is the reality that you might lose a couple. That's okay. I've never had someone homeless. You're not going to be my first one. And we're going to do it. Right. Like, so this is how we're going to get it done. It's like, we've got to guide them and help them because they're freaking out. So like, if you're the buyer freaking out and the lender's freaking out, and the realtor's freaking out, that's not going to go well.
It's not.
Just talk to my lender.
That's not going to go well, no matter what the market is. Think just 2021.
Yeah.
It was a different problem then. It was still a tough market. How many buyers did you have and did I have were pre-qualified, wanted to buy and could not get under contract? It didn't matter what the interest rates were.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. That was hard. This is hard. Hard is hard. Learn to do hard better.
Yeah. And no doubt. Because again, something else will shift. So let's talk about, okay. So right now, lenders, realtors, everyone's struggling some, right? Because, we talked a little bit offline, we'll talk the kind of business they run, right? There's different kind of businesses we run in terms of where our business comes from. So let's go through that a little bit. You talked a little about if you were more of a retail officer versus, potentially working with a builder. Kind of give us some thoughts on that.
Well, I think that if you're a loan officer that has a builder relationship, you're probably not feeling the pain as much as a loan officer that is dependent on your database, refinances, and or the real estate community for your leads. So if we know that, then as a loan officer that maybe doesn't have a builder relationships, go call on some builders, right? That's a long game. It doesn't happen overnight, but maybe getting turned down business is an option today. I think that this is a first-time home buyer market. So let's bring education to first-time home buyers. They're the ones that are winning right now. This is an opportunity for them. So let's make sure that we're pointing to our minds and that we know what the stats are in our market. We know what seller concessions are. We have invested in ourselves to learn, whether you're a real estate agent or a lender, how a 2-1 buy down works, why it matters. We're leveraging the current market to find the opportunity. And that's what we're coaching our retail loan officers on that are focused on the real estate community. Let's make sure we're pointing into the real estate community. So now we're talking in this symbiotic type of language that they understand it, we understand it, and we're there together to bring education to both sellers and buyers. Because if you're a seller and maybe it's a little bit extra time on market because your house didn't sell in 2 hours like it did in 2021, in lieu of that, what are the alternatives for a seller instead of a price drop, right? There's just so much that we can do right now that our industries need us to do, as opposed to just taking a step back. Look, is volume down? Yes, it is. But 2 years ago, loans were pouring from the sky. Transactions were raining from the sky. It was a point in time. that wasn't real. And this is a point in time. This is real, but it's not going to last forever.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think we talked to, and it's listen, who's buying right now? It's really, and again, I'm in Virginia, you're in Arizona, not the same market. I'm in a small town, you're in a larger town. So again, you got to take locally versus nationally, but think about it. But part of it's national. Look, so are investors out in your market? Then you got to be finding some investors. If you're a lender, investor financing or whatever it may be, hard money lending. This is more where I go, I know these words, but we're going to let the lender, right? But so investor clients, who needs to move, right? So, first time home buyers, downsizers, people 65 plus that live in homes that, don't suit their needs anymore. Who has to move? We've got to
Life events, right?
Yes.
Partner with divorce attorneys. Unfortunately, that means usually there's a sale and a buy or two buys, so there's that exists.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's finding the opportunities exactly right. It's, again, it doesn't mean, so I think the clarity though has to be, we don't bail on the basics. I don't now just ignore my database. I'm a very database driven business. I have to take better care of them. I have to prove more resources and I have to educate more than ever so that it's clear what's really happening, but they're not moving as often, right? So I need strong business partners. I need to be clear on, well, maybe I'll change my farming tactics. Like, what do I need to do to get in front of the people that need to move? So that's our job right now. How do we help them and not freak out because there are not as many of them? Yeah. So we got to work harder to find them.
And you have to cast a wider net in this type of market. It has to be broader. And there's a really great way to do that, Marjorie. I know you're going to ask me about it, but I can't wait to
That
share.
was like the perfect segue. That was not planned. I mean, you are a genius because now we're going to get into the videos. This is where everyone's excited. And this is I meant to do it. Oh, hell no, I'm never going to do it. Maybe I'll try one. Like, I think people someone told me that I need to do it, but I hate it. Right. So I think we're going to go through really committing to video. You're going to share some tactics. So you already talked about the first one. That's the most obvious to me and the most clear is I shoot a video, then I look at it and I'm like, ooh, look, there's a line here. And gosh, my teeth are not as, tissue white as I would like. And, my hair is a little flat. And then you hear yourself and you think I'm a chipmunk. And then you're like, this was a terrible idea. Right. So that is absolutely it. You're going to see it. You're going to hear it. You're in your own way. So one thing that you said, I love that it was, you bring value in your content. It's not what you look like, it's value that you're sharing, right? That's a great way to think about it. How'd you get past that though, right? If you were like, to me, I don't watch them. Honestly, I'll record them. I'm out. Like podcasts too, right? Because we are video and audio. We record it. We plan. Absolutely. We prep. We love doing it. You and I are used to doing this, but then it's like, send it, right? I don't sit there and critique it because I would never have done the first one.
Right. But why do you do this?
I love this. Honestly, it's funny because, realtor became a coach. I have this great opportunity through Alcova Mortgage. I love the owners. They're fantastic people. Jonathan is my lender. And they said, hey, let's do a podcast. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't really know. I thought, oh, and now I'm like, oh, I gotta keep doing this. Like, I crave learning, like from you, what makes you successful. I love putting the pieces together of what have other people figured out that I have huge respect for, that I need to make sure I incorporate. And everyone says the same stuff, right? Like the successful people are doing the same thing. And to me, it's like, okay, failure's not an option, right? I want to learn more. I love speaking. I love teaching. I love people, right? That are motivated to learn and grow. That's why I do this, right? There's a great kinship with the people you get to interview. Right. And then if one person texts and says, gosh, I really needed to hear that today, you're like, yes.
That's it right there. You said it. Going back to my story. So January 2014, in 2013, I shot 8 videos, never sent one out. January 2014, this was something that was gnawing at me. Have you ever known you need to do something, but you're afraid to do it, but you need to do it? I could not shake this. So I sat down with Shay, my marketing gal, and who's still with me today, by the way, who thank God for Shay. But anyway, said, Shay, we have got to figure this out. And she said, Kelly, honestly, we don't have to figure anything out. Until you get out of your own way, you are never going to do this.
Yep.
And let me be that person for you today. If you're listening, hear this. If you don't get out of your own way and stop talking and focusing on the negative stuff that you're telling yourself about how you look on video or how you sound, then you're never going to do it. I guarantee it. I had to make a decision, and then that decision was, and this is where the switch went off for me. Instead of focusing on myself, I decided to focus on the person that was going to give me 30 seconds or 2 minutes of their life. Could I bring value? Could I bring a nugget? Could I bring some type of education that would be impactful to them? And when I started focusing on the person that was going to watch that, as opposed to me, that was it for me. And it didn't make it easy, and didn't mean I automatically loved the way that I looked or sounded on video, but that was my compass. That was my passion. That was the thing that kept me going with all of the years now. And to be clear, it's also consistency. So every year, every week, actually, since 2014, we have sent out a video update to the real estate community that's on my distribution list 50 weeks out of the year, and have now done that for 9 years. So it works, but it's a long game, right? And it's just like going to the gym. You go to the gym once and you don't walk out of there,
Isn't that too bad?
20 pounds, right?
That's
It would really be great if it was, but it's not, right? We have to keep working at it, and then you get better. And it's like anything else you do, you get better. And then now I can look at myself, on video and just not throw up, because I've trained myself. And now I'm like, you know what? It's more important, the content, it's more important what I'm pushing out than me sabotaging myself. And that was it. That was the decision. And that is what changed everything.
And I think that's key, right? I think it's not about us. And I think interestingly, that it's not about us really. If we can get out of that mindset for anything, think about it. If you're scared to make phone calls, if you make it about you, then it's harder to do. If it's about how you can help them, then it's different, right? So let's talk. Okay. So now, okay, I'm going to get out of my way, Kelly. I promise. That's what everyone's saying. Yeah, girl, I'm going to do it. So, but I have to go, gosh, I got to go get a studio, and I need to buy a camera, and I have to get all this stuff, and I need to hire videographers. Kelly, this is very expensive. Here's the second way I'm going to talk myself out of it, by the way.
Well, that's just a bunch of crap, because that's not the truth. The truth is, today, technology has advanced so much. And yes, I made all of those same mistakes and had all those same excuses. That's not what you need today. Today, if you have a cell phone, you are good to go.
Yeah.
So cell phone, there's a few other things that I recommend. Lighting is important. You can get a lighting kit on Amazon. It'll be here at 4:00 this afternoon, roughly $125. There's soft lights. So if you're following me on social, 2 lights come into my office. This is really my office. This is really my bookcase. They go right in front of me. Then I have a tripod in front of me where I plug my phone in. And if I'm shooting by myself, I have a Bluetooth remote. So I'm not doing this and that with the phone. Generally, I have somebody come in behind the camera that's just making sure audio and everything else is in place, so I can be efficient with my time. And I use a lavalier mic. So there's a lavalier mic, it's $20. There's an adapter that you can get for your iPhone, which is what I have. And boom, I am ready to rock and roll. So lighting, a microphone, some type of microphone. If it's lavalier, if it's the one you have on your desk, whatever it is, quality sound is important.
Agreed.
And a phone. There you go. Boom.
Wow, that was hard.
I know.
So for probably $400, I'm now a videographer. Woo! Well, there goes that excuse. Darn it. So now, here's the next excuse though, Kelly. All right. I can get over the fact that I got to not look at myself, and now I don't have to spend thousands of dollars. But you know what, Kelly? I don't have 40 hours a week to record videos. I'm very, very busy.
I know you're very busy.
So now what? How do we quash that argument?
A couple things. One, I only shoot video 2 hours a week, and I work about 55 hours a week right now. Could be more actually, but I work a lot. But for video content, 2 hours a week, that's all I'm doing. It's in my calendar. Shay comes in, she holds me accountable. I don't get to weasel out of it. So having an accountability partner would be helpful. Agreed. Because you will find every reason, and I will find every reason not to do it. I won't now because I've seen the impact of it, but early on when it's hard, you'll find a reason not to do it. So having that accountability partner was huge for me, and it's blocked out on my calendar. So we're gathering content every day. I keep a running list on my phone. I tap into my team for stuff that's happening. I tap into our real estate partners. I tap into things that are happening in the mortgage industry, things that people need to know about. FHA just dropped the annual mortgage insurance premium. What's the net impact to a consumer? Why does it matter? All great content. And I just keep a running list on my phone. And so I come into it, Shay will sort through it and say, okay, today you're going to talk about these 5 things. Boom. Now there's a whole science that we've learned over the years, and I'm happy to tell you more about that. But really, it's just having a list of content, ideas. And for real estate agents, if you're listening to this, it's easier for you guys, because really, how sexy is mortgages? It's not, right?
Super.
But real estate agents, you are viewing cool properties, you're doing an open house, you get asked the same questions from a seller and a buyer. That's all really, those are good places to start for just content for how you're going to start your videos.
Yeah. I mean, what's relevant to them? I think the biggest thing too is relevant to the listener, because I know you super cool and I am awfully cool too. But when we yabber on about how cool we are, that is not what people want to hear.
No.
So it's valuable content to the listener, to the consumer, for you, the realtor, the public, whatever, for us, of course, clients, as well as lenders, any one of our business partners. But it's not about our fantastic story, right? About our greatness. And I think that's something I see too often too. It's like, focus on what's important to them, right? Not just,
where's the lesson? What's the value
how are
add?
you helping me? Yes. Yes. So, well, you just killed the content one too, because you are correct. If someone spent 20 minutes literally going, okay, what questions do I get asked in a listing appointment? What do I go over in a buyer consult? What are the steps to buying a house? How do I stage a house? Right. I mean, it's endless content. So kind of prioritizing that. Yes. How long? So what's a good length of a video? 2 hours, 15 minutes?
I would say it depends on what you have to say.
Okay.
So don't talk just to talk. Talk enough to get your point across and bring the value. I'll shoot, 59-second shorts. I will shoot 30-minute interviews with a real estate attorney talking about wraps and the things that people that might be considering those that need to know today. I talk about it all, and I don't have a set, like, we have to talk for 7 minutes. I don't do that. There was a point in time where I thought, can't do anything under 2 minutes. Shouldn't do anything. Just, you guys, don't fill your head with the noise. Just shoot good content and get it out there.
And I'd agree with you. If it's an interview, it's longer. If it's just a couple points, it wouldn't be the 36 things that you need to do to get your home ready, right? I would maybe do 36 videos and say, hey, I'm going to give you, right, today we'll go through tip 1. Because by the time you get to tip 2, I'm probably going, that's a lot. So I think really paying attention to that. So, all right, well, now we've gotten rid of content. And then, so when you're shooting, do you just have like 5 different shirts you throw on, or do you wear the same thing?
I do, actually. Yes. And in fact, today I wore a shirt that I shouldn't have worn, not remembering that we were going to do this. So I have a wardrobe closet. It's actually in our tech room here in our office. And it's just a, shirt bar. And I have several shirts in there. Those are the shirts I use for video. I need bright color on video because I'm pale and I'm blonde, and I had a white shirt on today. I would never wear white on video because it doesn't look good. So I will do 6 different shirts, if I'm shooting 6 different videos. So I'll shoot in this, I'll change, I'll come in, I'll change, I'll come in, and boom, boom, boom. It creates efficiency in my process. I only have an hour. That's it. That's all that's carved out. So I have to make it as efficient as possible. So that's how I do it. And it doesn't look like then I'm shooting, 6 videos in 1 shirt.
Right. You're like, she never changes clothes, that girl. But it's just little tips, right? Like if they haven't done it, you don't have to go out and buy a bunch of new clothes either. You can, you can recycle those too. But so what else? So what do we want to make sure we end with? Because you've given a ton of great content. We know that the market's tougher. Mindset's super important. We know that it's time to start video. So when we say this, it's not abandon all these other things, right? It's not that video is going to make, just the clients fall out of the sky by next week, right? It is a longer term game. But what else do you think? How would you like to leave the lenders and realtors listening today? A final Kelly thought for the public.
Yes. Wow. Let me see. So serious. I would say, think about video different. How are you building your brand? What's your why? And if you can incorporate video, if you choose to be courageous and do it, it helps build your brand. It helps position you as the expert in your market or in your industry or whatever it is that you're focused on. It has the widest reach. It is going to far and exceed a face-to-face one-off meeting with a real estate agent, right? It's now being able to bring all of that stuff that's in your head and your heart that you've gained over the years. Or if maybe you're new, but you're learning, share it, because the world needs to hear it. And here's the last thought. If we don't do this, I need you and you need me. We collectively, between the real estate community and the lending community, we have got to change the narrative. And the only way we can do that and compete with the national negative media is to do video and get the content out there and give people the right information that they need to make an educated decision and not just run with fear.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I also think it's the way they know you. So I think that when they've watched your video, so it used to be like when real estate, we'd put our faces, because we're big on that. We like to put our faces on anything that you can put a face on. But with signs, it used to be funny because 20 years ago, oh, I see your face everywhere. I don't think you do. But, the sign was out there. That's the video now. And not only that, it's a connection to you before you sit with them. So I would also say if anyone's still doing anything on the phone, we do nothing on the phone anymore. It's in person or it's on Zoom if they can't get there, because that connection of seeing someone on the face rather than like I'm painting my nails as I'm talking to you because I'm not connecting. That connection and look, they're an expert and they know you and they feel that kind of kinship to you already. You're less of a commodity when they have seen you and feel like they know who you are and what you're all about. So I think that's the thing too. It's like, I haven't seen you in person for a long time, but I see you all the time because of your videos. It's a connection to you. It's very different had it just been a text you sent me or I got your email. So I think that, I'm really tight with my clients. Well, if they never see you, right, then maybe not so much. So really build that deeper relationship before you even start. Maybe the competing becomes easier too if they get to see you in advance. So that's a final thing I think as well. That's very important. As the person who is really not that good at video, by the way. But Kelly, I'm going to make you proud. You're going to, in the next 6 months from now, you're going to be like, that girl has got it going on because we're really working on it. Okay. Just because
I teach a virtual class on video. So I'll get you the QR code. I teach it about every 6 weeks, just for real estate agents and for lenders nationwide. And I just kind of teach people in depth how to do it from beginning to how we do it here. So,
well, I've gotten to attend one of your classes, but I'm going to put that on for my team and then we'll put it in the show notes. That's the official place, the show notes when you're a podcaster.
Show notes.
So that everyone can find them. Kelly, thank you. You are a busy lady. I appreciate your time. It's so great seeing you. I look forward to seeing you in person again sometime soon, but thank you for joining me on Real Estate Unscripted.
Thank you, Marjorie. Pleasure to be here.